I'm really excited to be here. A lot of really great presentations. The REI guys are killing it. That sounds like they'd be great to work with. They've got it together. Well, let me grab the clicker. And what I want to talk about is, as marketing teams, I think this is really accurate, unfortunately. We approach projects, and this is the output we want, and those are the inputs we give. And it doesn't, there's lots of examples. I could use brands, but I use cake. They're bad. And what I want to talk about is the difference between input-based thinking and output-based thinking. So here's a really practical way of looking at this. Input-based thinking is, I want to do one exceptional piece of content a day. I want to do 10 horror pitches. I want to have 5 excellent core responses. While output-based thinking is 5,000 new visitors, picked up on 5 relevant sites, increased brand awareness by 25%. Now, those aren't bad objectives, but I think we focus oftentimes on strategy, and I find this especially to be true amongst our larger clientele, is the idea of strategy is very alluring because you get to do it and then you don't have to do anything. And I know that might sound bad, but I think it's kind of accurate sometimes. And so what I wanted to start with was some of our own inputs just to show you this approach and it working, and then we'll kind of dive into really tactical and practical ways you can do this today. So the goal of this session is you're actually going to walk away with tons of notes that hopefully next week you guys can completely change the way you're testing things, come up with new inputs in a rapid way of growing. So right now we're testing 5 core responses a day, 10 horror pitches, 1 piece of gated content, 20 email pitches to editors to guest post on Monday, 2 to 3 guest posts, 2 blog posts, 2 paid social campaigns, and 5 new tests. We are a 3-person team with less than probably 3 years experience on the high end, and this is just my own team for the agency. So it's very, very doable. You don't need tons of experts. A system is really, I think, what helps. The cool part is I've heard a lot of people talking about guest posting like it doesn't work. Guest posting has been our #1 thing to growing. Guest posting, though, in my opinion, is can we get on valuable websites that our target customer reads? So for example, we like to post for Moz and WordStream and some of the top blogs in the industry because we can do a couple of things. We get great PR and great awareness, so think of blogs in your own industry you can do this for. And then the second part is you can control the destination of the link and the anchor text. I haven't thought of any other link building strategy out there yet that allows you to do that. When you can do that, you can quickly grow because you can quickly escalate your results to the pages you want to rank. And so here's some of the things. We're also trying Quora. Quora's been cool. It has actually no inherent lead gen value, but you can on Quora leave very valuable responses, and you can start to mine the keywords you're trying to rank for. And instead of trying to increase the volume of people searching for what you offer, you can take more positions on the page. That's something you can control with an input. And the input there would be, can you add valuable answers to people's questions on Quora? And if you're not the best response, don't leave your link. It's really simple for your brand, or else I think they can get eaten up on forum sites like Reddit and other places. So here's a secret one. We've been testing getting rid of our brand name. And so instead of brand name, we're Directive Consulting. You've probably never heard of us. We paid money to be here, so now you have. But if you probably haven't when you're looking online for someone. So instead we wanted to think, okay, well if someone wants an SEO company, they probably want to see the case studies. So if I could illuminate that in the SERP, maybe they'd click through more. So what happened? With our tiny site with a domain authority less than 40, we're ranking in the top 10 and or top 5 for some of the most difficult keywords in our industry against really top competitors that have been around for a lot longer with probably better content and other things. So all these little things work, and I wanted to start with that so you could see we grew really fast. We had to make I had to focus on operations for a while, fix everything, and now we get back to marketing, so I'm excited. So what's the difference? So what input will get you to your goals? If we start asking that, we can actually start doing action-based things every day in our campaigns and with our teams. So I want to improve my PPC, or I want to drive down my quality score, increase my quality score, or drive down my cost per click. Okay, build single keyword ad groups. Work on your mobile optimization on custom landing pages. You want to improve your organic rankings. Start guest posting on authoritative sites that you actually yourself read. Grow top of funnel content awareness. Quora, relevant forums. Improve conversion rates. Add video. Now the thing about all this is it's a lot more work. The benefit though is when you can focus on weekly sprints and doing new tests and new inputs, you're able to really rapidly grow. There's been a lot of studies that show there's no direct correlation between spending and results, especially in marketing. And I want to say that because I think oftentimes we either think that we don't have the resources internally or we don't have the budget we want. And the reality is you still have yourself. And you are really, really talented. I can guarantee you that. And it's just changing how quickly you're testing new ideas and allowing yourself to fail. So let's talk about building your team. I really liked what the REI guy said. I think it's spot on. I think it makes total sense. Is hire what you're not good at and then build a team around that. We actually didn't get to hear their presentation yet, but this is what I would deem my ideal marketing team. It's going to have a marketing manager who can communicate to executives and kind of, I'd say, build that center of excellence. And then within that, they'll have their own creative dedicated to their team. They'll have their own search marketer. That person can do SEO and PPC. PPC in the sense of managing the ad groups, building custom landing pages with the creative. SEO in the sense of keyword research on page. Then the engineer will handle a lot of the stuff that Ryan does in programming, understanding code, how your crawl rate's going, everything else on your site. And then you'd have your social advertisement to make sure that all this hard work people are actually finding out about. And this is kind of a team. If I was in-house, this is exactly what I want, and this is what I'm building for myself. And by the way, at Directive Consulting, this is how we manage all of our clients. So we don't take on more than 8 accounts per pod, and then each pod has its own account manager, its own SEO, its own PPC, its own creative, and its own social. And so what was happening before is the departments were siloed, and so PPC team has a search term report that's amazing. It's got all these great content ideas with proven cost per acquisitions and proven conversion rates. And then the SEO team is over here using Moz, BrightEdge, and other tools, and they're like, we should do this keyword, and the PPC team is targeting something completely different, and they actually have data, and nobody's talking. And then forget about content. They're not even invited. Somehow they're over there. Social doesn't know what's going on. And everybody's operating in silos, and we're laughing, but it's true. And this is what happens, I think, way too often. So I'm going to give you guys a system and a process to set this up, and it might change the way you're approaching things, and I hope it can give you a little bit more impact every day. So choose your software. We use Asana, Trello. Asana, I think, is paid for. Trello is free. From there, you just need a way to assign tasks to people. You guys can have a whiteboard. I mean, you can do this however you want. And then get Growth Hackers. Growth Hackers is a free software. It makes you ask why on every new input. I call ideas inputs because I don't like ideas very much. I like to execute things. I think it's way more fun. And then it forces you to ask why and what are you testing. And then you yourself have to ask what's next. Okay? So the goal with all these things is if you're using Growth Hackers, you're doing more. So here's kind of what it might look like. You'll assign something to someone. You'll set due dates. Notice that mine are all like today or tomorrow. I'm really like particular. I love to sprint, so I think that's the way you can grow. So step 3 is going to be, okay, what are our objectives? And all your objectives shouldn't be acquisition related. If you're only thinking acquisition, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit, you're missing, I would say, actually most of your revenue. There's still activation, there's referral, there's retention, and there's revenue, all different goals and different things you can be testing your inputs towards. So here's some of the ones we're actually trying to get to. Notice like we have the acquisition side, then we're going to have the activation side, then we're going to have the more awareness side, and then we're going to have the revenue side. And these are all different objectives, each with their own inputs. If you don't have enough objectives, what happens when you're building this is the team, without these, like if I didn't have these objectives, nobody would be talking about video. Everybody would just talk about SEO, PPC, new keywords. And then if I didn't have the close rate, nobody would be worrying about our email campaign or what we're doing over there because it'd all just be focused on this. And this is what we usually do with our objectives. We'll say, hey, we want to get 30 new accounts. And then everybody gives inputs and tests towards just the 30 new accounts instead of all the different aspects that influence that. And then this is kind of what it looks like. So you'll get these different roadmaps, and then you can assign ideas/inputs to then test. It's very collaborative. So step 4, choose your inputs, assign repeating weekly inputs into Asana or Trello, and then test. Now, I wanted to use this image, and it's a terrible image, but whoever thought up of carrot cake was obviously testing, because I don't think you naturally just like blend up a bunch of carrots, throw some icing on it, and it's like, wow, carrot cake. Like you had to have been really trying some new stuff to come up with that. Like they probably tried asparagus, it was disgusting. They tried like avocado. I don't even know if that's like avocado cake is real. But they tested a bunch of different inputs, and they came up with an amazing output. And I think that's the key here. So ideas are really just inputs. So within Growth Hackers is what we use to manage this whole process. There are spreadsheets you can build. I use Growth Hackers, it's free, it's super simple, and say, the inputs must be testable. So if we're going to test a new input, I have to be able to test it. So throughout the week, we have a weekly meeting. Throughout the week, you will suggest new inputs that you want to test next week. And the key is that they have to be testable, should have a direct impact on one of our roadmaps, and failing is not the problem. So there is no such thing as bad tests. You don't know until you actually launch it and get the data. And the key here is that you launch more tests and don't worry about failing. So if you failed way more often, I think you'd actually be a lot more successful. And so the way you grade this, so you might be saying, okay, we have all these different inputs, we have all these different ideas, which one do we do first? So the idea here is going to be based on an ICE score. So it's the impact, the confidence you have, and the ease. So let's say you don't have an engineer, and you want to build out this amazing content piece that says how many, I heard a Post-it note session, it was really cool, but it might be how many Post-it notes would it take to get to space? You could do an interactive page that would crawl as you scrolled and would add the Post-it notes, and eventually you got to the bottom and showed you how many Post-its. That'd be a really cool campaign if anyone does that. But you need an engineer. So if I don't have an engineer, that would be a very hard campaign. It would give me an overall score that was lower, and I wouldn't be able to test that one right away. So this is a good way to hierarchically organize your tests and then go fast again. So it's a sprint, not a marathon. Yesterday won't cut it today. Google comes out with a new algorithm before you can blink, and you only know about the ones they tell you about. That doesn't mean they're not just doing them all the time. And then your competitors are also doing things. And I think at the end of the day, if you're not working harder than your competitor, don't expect to beat them. And if you're not running more tests and trying new inputs, it's also hard to beat them. And so the rules to the meeting, and I want to just have the rules because I think it's important. Come prepared. Have your data and tabs open. No brainstorming. It's not a leader session. And then no laughter. And that's just a joke. I just wanted to throw something in there. Yeah, thank you. That's helpful. But I think, though, this one is the hardest one for me because I just love to get in there. I take the meeting over, I'm like, this is what we're doing. I've been thinking about it all week. And then someone else, I finally take a deep breath, and someone else starts talking. I'm like, wow, that person's way smarter than me. I should have shut up. And I think this is really important because when we're doing these meetings, I think it can be a cover your own ass and be really careful. I don't want to say anything. If they do it and it goes wrong, there has to be a culture of allowing people to fail. And if you allow people to fail, you'd be amazed at how fast you can learn also what not to do. If you can learn what not to do, it's also just as helpful of knowing what to do. And so here's the agenda we use. So I want to give this to you guys. And all of the slides I put on my Twitter, and so if you want it, you can just download it from SlideShare. But update progress on roadmaps and focus. So where are we at right now? Celebrate the wins. So if we close the deal, I'm clapping, I'm having a blast, we're laughing about everything. Everybody's super excited. Review previous inputs and learn. Document the lessons learned from completed inputs. And then choose new inputs. And then increase velocity if possible. So if we ran 3 tests last week, I want to do 4 tests this week. If we did 5 tests the week before, I want to do 6 tests, 7 tests. Every week, push it. And then as you create things that have proven valuable, hire into it. Don't ask more of your team. So in other words, the beauty of this, by the way, when you're doing these things, is because you're testing, it's very easy to go to management, your CFO or whoever, and say, we added this much revenue by doing this. I want to do more of this. Can I get a resource? So when you actually have this approach, it's not well, we ran this campaign and we got these shares and what's next? It's no, I ran this test. I had this idea. Here's my hypothesis. This is what happened. I want to do more of this. Can I hire another person? I don't need some crazy experienced person because guess what? The value of this also is you can hire entry level and train because you've actually already done it yourself and create a system. So you can hire very inexpensive resources that are talented and want to grow. And then because you've proven the value in the business, case for it, you can grow really, really quickly. Now, I was talking about before, it's not just acquisition. I feel like this whole entire conference has been acquisition. I think that's really important, but I think we leave almost all of the money on the table in almost every one of our campaigns, probably in the other channels. So what I want to talk about too is when you use growth hackers, this other thing I love about it, is it makes you choose which one your input is going to. And so you're naturally starting to think, oh wow, is this revenue? Is this retention? Is this referral? Oh, I don't have any referral ideas. I'm missing that in my mix. And I think it gives you a much more holistic recipe. And so active acquisition inputs. We tested this one, so we were like, okay, what if we recorded probably a halfway decent video? We got a Rode mic, a tripod, sent it over to some college students, they edited it. We spent $400, but we were able to increase our conversion rate by 63.89, no, 43.32%, just by adding a video. And that was a test we would have never came up with if we didn't have this process. And so the idea here is reading, by the way, the key to this also is to get the inputs. We're not like really smart, we just read a lot. So there's a lot of smarter people out there who are writing really amazing content every day on the top blogs. And if you can take like 30 minutes a day to just read a new piece of content, you can get all the inputs in the world you want to test things. It's really, really cool. And then, this is my favorite one. We grew our whole entire company from this, and every one of our clients is their highest performing channel. Look on the keywords you want to rank for. You theoretically will not rank for keywords related to best, top, and reviews. By the way, those are your most profitable keywords. I can almost guarantee it regardless of industry. That's B2B software, that's B2C e-commerce. The reality is best, top, reviews, modified keywords. Those types of keywords, Google understands that people are not looking for a single option. So almost every time when someone searches best, top, reviews, etc., they're looking to do some shopping and they want to have multiple options. Sites that show up would be Capterra, Clutch on the agency side. We got to work with them. We ranked them #1 for best SEO companies, which was really, really fun. And so there's all sorts of sites that rank for in every industry, like hands down, and that's where it's in the referral traffic section in Google Analytics, and that's where a lot of their revenue is coming from. And then adding a video to your homepage. We've seen, if you run tests, you can tag people who watch a video in a section within Google Analytics. It can be, I'm forgetting the name of it right now, but it's like a category. I forget the word for it. But you can test, and then you can compare people watching a video versus people who didn't watch a video. And hands down, across all the clientele, people who watch a video are far more likely to fill out a form. And so we've started adding videos to all of our landing pages that we're running, and to our home pages if possible, and putting video farther up in the funnel. Now, I want to give you some activation inputs. This is a study by Harvard Business Review. Follow up in calls within 5 minutes. You're 10 times less likely to close a deal after 10 minutes of someone filling out your form. Really, really cool. Another one that we tested, a lot of people here have scheduled a demo if you're a B2B software client. We changed that to watch free 5-minute demo video. I don't think, raise a hand, who here loves just being a part of demos? Oh, no one? Okay, me too. So for whatever reason, we go with that call to action on our most valuable process of getting a lead. Like our inbound leads are usually most valuable, yet we want them to schedule a demo. So we tested it, we published it on Crazy Egg, and it was a 700% increase in conversion rate when we went from schedule a demo to watch free 5-minute demo video. And when you do that, all you do is record a 5-minute demo video of you doing a demo, and then allow people to fill them out. At the end of the day, what are you trying to have happen? You're trying to have someone give you information so your sales team can call them. Why not give them something that they actually want before you call them? And now all of a sudden it starts to work really well. We send people to other sites that talk about us. So we have a great review somewhere else. We've tested sending people to another site. So if we have someone else say that we're great, it's more powerful than us saying we're great, and that's been really successful as well. On the referral side, gift cards to people, running Net Promoter Score on a consistent basis and getting the feedback that you frankly might not always want to hear. Running social campaigns to a landing page asking for referrals. I thought this one was really cool. If you're a large enough site, you can use retargeting to have people, like for example, your REI, someone buys a backpack, you have a confirmation page. You would then set up a separate unique campaign that asks people who have bought a backpack to leave a review for you, which would then help you boost your user-generated content, which would then help you rank better for your primary keywords. That would be a way that you could scale out referral inputs. Retention, loyalty bonuses for clients that built the company over 1 year. Don't think, by the way, that retention is just for your clients. I know I didn't put that up there, but I think client retention should just be as much be employee retention. They're the ones creating all the value for you in the first place. So how are you honoring them, especially your team members? Tickets to local sports games. We get tickets for all the team members to go like Ducks games. We love hockey, stuff like that. Turning on video. This was a huge one. So we started doing video on all weekly reports. So we do weekly reporting, not monthly reporting. So on all weekly reports, videos on, and on all sales calls, videos on. We found that we have a lot of energy. Like we really love what we're doing. And if people can see that, it was such a bigger difference, and we started getting really great feedback from people after the calls, we really loved your guys' passion. We wanted to work with you because we thought you actually enjoyed your job. And I think if we show that more, especially internally across the department, I think you'll get a lot better buy-in. So if you're talking to so I don't work at a large corporation. And I don't necessarily envy everyone here after hearing like a lot of the things you struggle with. They're like, wow, that's a real problem. That stinks. But I think if you were actually to turn on video, and you'd be amazed, like I have my video on, none of my clients ever turn their video on, like 2. But the ones who do, all of a sudden the relationship gets so strong, like instantly, because I can see them, I can react to them, I can understand them. So even if you're cross-department and you're doing your department meetings, having video on I think would be so, so big. And then revenue inputs. Calling at least 6 times. I'm guilty of this. Someone fills out our form, I talk to them a couple times, they say they're interested, and then I like go on to something else. And I don't call them enough. There's been a lot of data sets from the same Harvard Business Review. People are really busy. Call more often. Adding video to outbound email cadence. People like to watch things. I think we all know that by now, yet we don't actually do it. Ways you can test it. And then improving sales collateral by just making it more beautiful. I know that sounds also really basic, but it's huge. And anything you guys are doing, so if you're doing a lot of content, like REI is doing a lot of content, they would probably tell you for all their pieces that have infographics and or any type of amazing creative, they perform probably exponentially better. Not only for social, but also for SEO. Like our pages are terrible for SEO from an old school standpoint. They have less than 300 words, my infographics an image, like I am not doing it right by any means, yet they're ranking incredibly well because time on site is far more important right now, in my opinion, than having lots of text. So the relevancy of your link profile, the frequency of your link profile, the anchor text of your link profile, and then the overall behavioral aspects of your site, the click-through rate of your titles, and the on-page elements of your site are really important. One way to increase your time on site, which we've been experimenting with and liked, and it's not in here, is to add free downloads. So on our service pages, we'll give away a free download to a case study without an email required. Now, if you guys don't understand what happens when you download something online, if you actually download something, it opens a separate tab. When you do that, they start to read that other tab. Well, what happens with the previous tab? It's still on. It's still loading your time on site. You're showing even better behavioral metrics, and you're increasing time on site and better engagement because people are also clicking into your site, which is something important. So lessons learned. There's the 80-20 principle. 20% of the things you do are going to make 80% of the impact. Keep failing, keep trying new things, keep testing new things. Do it confidently, believe in it, because you really don't know until you test it. And then fail fast. Be okay with failing and keep going. And this is the team. I wanted to give them a shout out. They're doing awesome stuff. So, thank you.